guys, let's do this. Today is December the 5th, Wednesday. It's about 2:30 p.m. here in Marseille, France. We're on our way to Paris, and I'm going to do a Bitcoin technical analysis. Am I interested in trading right now? Not really. I'm interested in longing EOS, actually. That's my main goal right now. Currently in a pretty decent position, not really that big whatsoever. It's about $12,000. Going to be laddering down to about 30K for this swing position with a pretty big possible RR unit of over 5 to 1. So I think it's going to be one of the trades of the week in my personal opinion. Check it out very quickly. Okay, so on EOS right now, the reason why I'm extremely interested in it is because if you take a look at the 2-day RSI, we're talking about a 19 RSI compared to every other coin out there right now, where it is not nearly as oversold, right? Like maybe IOTA, but IOTA is reaching support very soon. All of these coins are reaching support at an incredible rate, in my opinion, and Bitcoin will definitely lead the way to finding support. But the reason why EOS is heavily on my mind as well is because of this major support line right here. Okay? If you take a look right here, guys, I apologize if I'm talking very quiet. I want to be respectful on the train while also working. So my buy zone for EOS, I've been talking to Eric Cho as well, is anywhere between $2 and $2.25, but I'm also going to scalp my way down. So right now, if I were to demarcate this into a position right here, I'm going to be taking the entire fib structure of this range, and it will be a very aggressive position. With the position being very aggressive, I see myself gaining over 25% of a trade. Even if it went down to, for example, $2, I'm talking about like a 50-60% jump up, where I plan to make anywhere from, honestly, like 10K to 15 to 20K on this. So this is going to be my play for the month. But anyways, let's get into a Bitcoin technical analysis, okay? So how's the market trending? Let's go to CoinMarketCap. Let's see where we're looking at right now. So right now, overall market cap is $126 billion, okay? Volume is still trending right here. If you guys notice that XRP actually ended up overtaking Ethereum already, right? These ICO token type coins are having a lot of trouble right now, like EOS, Ethereum, NEO, etc. Tether is actually rebounding back to about 99 cents, right? So it's actually not losing its value nearly as much again. So if you guys are worried about Tether, make sure that you completely understand that I think Tether is here to stay, guys. Don't worry about it too much, in my opinion, okay? We take a look at the Bitcoin market right now. BitMEX, of course, always leading the way there, highly leveraged. Let's go check out 24-hour volume to see how this is trending as well. So 24-hour volume, based on historical data, we're talking about $5.5 billion, or $5.1 billion rather. So for the past 4 days in December, every day we've been trending about $5 billion, okay? So we're at the very low point of the range, where the volume is slowly diminishing, simply because, in my personal opinion, it's diminishing because we're reaching somewhat of a support, hence our bounce from 3,700 to about 4,000, right? So that was a very good position to be taking. So let's just keep talking about this right here. Let's take a look at the weekly. Bitcoin's going to really dictate what's going on to these altcoins. Alright, so last week we ended up getting a nice doji candle that ended up closing below the 200 moving average. This week the volume is really low so far, guys. We're also below the 200 moving average. She's not letting me do my technical analysis. She's holding my hand. Sorry, I'm very distracted all the time by her. So let's take a look at the 2-day as well. The 2-day volume is incredibly descending, but the volume is picking up based on this specific region over here, right? I still stand by my official count here, where we're looking for a fourth wave going upwards, okay? Let's go to the 8-day. Well, first of all, the 2-day, I want to talk about the RSI quickly, okay? It's trending still very low, but I think there's still one more spike down, guys. Don't be too encouraged to go long for a long time frame. It's especially if you're a day trader slash scalper, okay? If you look on the daily, yesterday we got a bullish pin bar or a bullish spinning top, however you want to call it, right? Let's trend down to a lower time frame, such as the 8 hour, and let's see if we can break down these to any Elliott wave structures, okay? So in my opinion right now, this is making an A, B, C, D, E type of structure coming down now, A, B, C, D, and E, and I am fairly confident that it's going to be a high probability trade going on the upside, okay? So if we just even break it down further on one of these lower time frames and we start drawing these resistances as well. Can you guys see me? Yeah, you guys can see me pretty fine. Okay. I'm gonna start live streaming a lot more, guys. Okay. When I get back to Canada. Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun time. So now, if you guys notice, right, a lot of people are calling this like a descending type of triangle. I don't see it as a descending triangle, honestly. I see it as a symmetric triangle that's gonna break to the upside, right? So if you even think of this right here, in my opinion, like the reason why I'm in a long position for EOS right now is because I believe that I'm trying to do a T right now and the train's just shaking uncontrollably. Okay, so can't really move the mouse right now. Hoping that you guys can still see what I'm doing, okay? So if you take a look at this RR unit right over here, where we can end up getting like, it's basically a 1-to-1 RR with a high probability yield, right? So I personally think that this is a good trade, but always keep in mind that I'm not a financial advisor, personally, of any sort, right? This is just speaking from my personal perspective. But in my personal opinion, what is most likely going to happen is we're going to trend to an apex. And if we trend to an apex, this is what's most likely going to happen. An apex is when we have two converging forces, a support pushing upwards to the positive side, and a bearish market as well, or a bearish resistance pushing down. So these equal forces end up meeting, and then it's going to break out either up or down. And then that's where the majority of the positions will be played. So yeah, it's just a matter of playing. We got till about December 10th here. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin short versus Bitcoin long market right now as well. USD long, 27,000. Doing alright. Let's talk out of the daily. See if it's trending upwards. Pretty as expected, I would say. Okay, let's go USD long. Our short table is now. USD short with Phoenix. We're getting into liquidation zone right now, okay? You guys always gotta remember that for a very long time now that we've been trending. Anytime we get to the $35,000 range or 35 Bitcoin range to the 40K range, we end up getting a massive liquidation by the bulls. So the bulls will end up stacking up their bids, driving up the price, and forcing the bears to get liquidated. So they close their short position to add fuel to the fire by causing a massive rally. It happens a lot more often than we think. Okay, thank you very much for waiting. So does this make sense to you guys what I'm talking about right now, okay? I really hope that it makes sense in terms of a possible breakout one way or the other, right? I mean, if we take a look at it from the perspective of a symmetric triangle where there's an apex that's forming, excuse me, it's very, very slow right now. We take a look at all these resistances, right? I mean, you got to keep in mind that 3K is going to be an incredibly powerful support because of these specific ranges, especially. I'm talking about right there, okay, where we ended up puncturing that 55 EMA. That was a very strong support. And then we ended up getting a very strong resistance here as well last year in June. So because of these two specific points, a major buy zone is going to be between 3,000 and 3,500, where you can count on the investors and institutions to be jumping into this, guys. I mean, it'd be wild not to buy Bitcoin at 3,000, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that it cannot go lower, but what I am saying is that there's a possibility for a very strong rally at that point, because then all 5 waves will be done, right? So, you know, if we end up breaking down below this $3,700 structure, this symmetric triangle ends up simply breaking down. Of course, we're going to test 3,650 first, and then we're going to test 3,500. And if we don't get some sort of conviction where the bulls end up coming in, there's going to be a massive test at the 3K range. But we also have to understand, like in my previous video that I was mentioning for you guys, that the bulls are most likely going to step in at some point due to these extremely oversold conditions. So I just want to give you guys my quick 2 cents on here. I don't really have too much to add because I'm on the train and I don't want to be rude to people here. So I apologize if this was incredibly short and sweet and to the point. But guys, if we end up breaking upwards, I'm just going to mention this one more time, that if we do end up breaking upwards, then my theory will actually hold true, okay? My theory of us making an A, B, C, D, B within that B structure, and then we end up taking a Fibonacci extension target of roughly 1-to-1. Okay, so here's a 382 structure at 47.40 something. But then if this is the bottom right here, then what we're going to say is, well, it's going to get, and it could get anywhere between, say, 4,500 for this high right here that we could expect it to be at the top, or even truncated first of all the way up to the 47.73 range. So there you guys have it. My bullish scenario is where we break up to 46.45, maybe 4,500, up to 47.73, and then the bearish scenario would be breaking down to, first of all, testing the interim swing low at 36.41, 3,500, and then eventually 3K. And how are we going to play this? Honestly, in my personal opinion, the best way to be playing this right here is to see which break this is going to happen. Is it going to break down that way, right? Is it going to break down that way right there? Or is it simply going to break down to the other way, right? Is it going to break up or down? Honestly, as simple as that in my personal opinion. So keep an eye on this particular apex that's going to break, and then this will also determine how I add and manage my risk for EOS as well. So for EOS, my risk to reward is quite amazing right now. It's like 6-to-1. So I keep you guys updated as well on my position. Once again, I'm in an EOS long position for about not much, 12